June 1764, a teenage girl is found in a field outside her village in southern France. Her throat has been torn open, her body partially eaten, her head nearly severed. This is not a battlefield. It's a farming province called Gévaudan. Over the next 3 years, something will systematically hunt the people there with terrifying consistency. Children, shepherds, women walking alone. More than 100 attacks, dozens killed. The King of France will send professional wolf hunters, then soldiers, then his personal gun bearer, and still it doesn't stop. This is the story of the Beast of Gévaudan, and the strangest part, we still don't know what it was. Gévaudan was a remote province in south-central France. Today it's part of Lozère, but in the 1760s it was isolated, mountainous and poor. Forests pressed up against small villages, mist-settled in valleys, farms were miles apart. Life was difficult, and wolves were common. People in Gévaudan were not naive about predators. Wolves attacked livestock regularly. Occasionally, during harsh winters, they even attacked people. But what began in 1764 didn't behave like normal wolf attacks. It targeted humans directly. It ignored cattle standing nearby. It returned to the same region repeatedly. And when it killed, it focused on the head and neck. This detail shows up again and again in records. The throat, always the throat. The earliest known attack happened in June 1764. A young woman tending cattle was knocked to the ground. She survived because her herd fought the animal off. But weeks later, a 14-year-old girl named Jeanne Bollet was killed. Parish records didn't say wolf attack. They said, killed by the ferocious beast, singular. Through summer and autumn, the attacks multiplied. Bodies were found dragged across fields, some partially eaten, some decapitated. Witnesses began describing the animal. Large, reddish or tawny fur, a dark stripe along its back, a long tail with a tuft at the end, an elongated snout, broad chest. It looked like a wolf, but there was something a little bit off. And this is where it stops being just a wildlife story. Because imagine living there. Every tree line becoming suspicious. Every walk between villages becomes a risk. Something is out there and no one can stop it. If you're into real historical mysteries like this, the ones that sit right on the edge between documented fact and folklore, this is what this channel explores, so subscribe if you want more stories like this. Now back to Gévaudan, because this is where it escalates. By late 1764, panic had taken over the province. Parents refused to let children travel alone. Villagers moved in armed groups. Church sermons directly mentioned the beast. And then the story spread, from village to town, from town to regional officials, eventually reaching Paris. And once it had reached Paris, it reached the king, King Louis XV. Now this wasn't just a rural tragedy, it was a royal embarrassment. How could the most powerful monarchy in Europe allow something, wolf or otherwise, to terrorize its citizens for months? The king had to respond, and he did, by sending professional wolf hunters, Jean-Charles Denneval and his son. Experienced men, experts, they had killed thousands of wolves in Normandy. They organized massive hunts, with hundreds of men combing forests in coordinated lines. Wolves were slaughtered in large numbers, but the attacks continued. Same pattern, same brutality, which forced a disturbing question. Were they hunting the wrong animal? In 1765, the king replaced the Dennevals with Francois Antoine, his personal arquebus bearer. An elite marksman, a man sent when the crown demanded results. Antoine arrived with soldiers and authority. In September 1765, he shot and killed an enormous wolf near the Abbey of Chazes. Contemporary accounts describe it as an unusually large, heavy, impressive beast. It was mounted, preserved, and sent to Versailles. Officially, this was the Beast. Paris celebrated as the problem was solved. Except it wasn't, because by December the killings began again. Same region, same targeting of women and children, same throat wounds. Now the situation was worse, because the crown had declared victory. This is where history becomes unstable. Some historians argue it was simply a series of wolf attacks, exaggerated over time by fear and media. France in the 18th century did experience wolf aggression during famine years, but there are many inconsistencies. Wolves typically avoid large groups of people. This creature sometimes attacked in front of witnesses. It appeared unusually bold. It returned repeatedly to populated areas. Then there are the physical descriptions. The reddish coat, the stripe along its back, the elongated skull, the tufted tail. Some suggest a wolf-dog hybrid. Others propose something more exotic, a hyena. France had colonial trade networks. Exotic animals were imported into private collections. A striped hyena would match some of the witness accounts disturbingly well. Then there are darker rumours. Whispers of human accomplice, of someone training an animal, of murder disguised as predation. There is no solid proof of that, but when fear spreads, imagination follows. What do we know? Documented in regional archives is that between 1764 and 1767, more than 100 attacks occurred. Somewhere between 60 and 100 people died. The scale is not folklore, that's a record. In June 1767, after 3 years of terror, a local hunter named Jean Chastel joined a coordinated hunt on Monmouchet. Later, legend claims he used silver bullets blessed by a priest, but this detail appears decades later, likely an embellishment. But this part is consistent. Chastel shot a large canid, and after that day, the attacks stopped. The carcass was examined. Some described unusual proportions, large head, elongated body. Others say it was simply a big wolf. The body was reportedly preserved, but it deteriorated before reaching Paris. No specimen survived, no skeleton, no confirmed remains. The beast vanished as suddenly as it had appeared. The Beast of Gévaudan sits in a rare category of history. It is documented. Official letters do exist. Royal orders were issued and parish death records remain. And yet the central question remains unanswered. Was it just one animal? Multiple wolves mistaken for one? A hybrid? An exotic predator? Or something more complicated? For 3 years, in one quiet province of France, something hunted human beings with terrifying regularity. The most powerful monarchy in Europe struggled to stop it. And then one day it simply ended. Maybe it was just wolves. But if you had lived in Gévaudan in 1765, if you had walked past the tree lines at dusk, you wouldn't have called it just anything. You would have called it what the records call it, the Beast.